Hey guys, Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this afternoon by Kelsey Nicole Nelson, host of The Last Night Tonight on Bally Sports. Nicole, how's your day going?
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Joe. I'm honored and delighted to be here. I know we're going to have fun talking sports.
Okay, so should I call you Kelsey Nicole or Kelsey?
You can just call me Kelsey. We'll keep it simple, Joe.
Kelsey. Okay. I wanted to call you Nicole. I've got a really good friend named Nicole. It just pops
It's a
out in
great
your name.
name.
Yeah,
It's a
it
really great name.
absolutely is. So, Kelsey, let's talk about how you got into the industry here.
Of course. So I grew up in the DMV area, and the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, we have all types of sports. And so I was a daddy's girl. I have a girl dad. So I grew up going to so many sports games with him. I'm also very competitive. So I played a bunch of sports growing up. So for me, sports has always been a part of my life. From when I was small, I'm riding on my dad's back, looking over everybody else, watching games, to now today doing it professionally. So I'm just thankful for the area that I grew up in. And especially since I have this interesting background of growing up on the East Coast, but also spending my summers down in Mississippi. I'm an East Coast girl with a Southern twang, and down South, church and football. Like, those are the two big things that we love. And those are the kind of the two big things that have always been keeping me going: religion, sports, and really just connecting with people, Joe. So it's been great to kind of continue to do that. Went on to college to study journalism, and then grad school to study sports industry management. And so it's always been a part of my life. I think sports, is honestly just the path that was meant for me.
Absolutely is. You're killing it in this space. Now,
So,
what teams were you watching growing up with your dad?
yeah, so I'm a Maryland girl. Crab cakes and
Okay.
football. That's what Maryland does. I grew up a Baltimore Ravens fan, watching the Washington Wizards, University of Maryland for the Turtle, Go Terps for the collegiate team, and also the Georgetown Hoyas, also the Washington Mystics. So these are kind of the team. Baltimore Orioles. These are the teams I grew up having a chance to actually get free tickets to go to games at first. And actually get to witness these teams playing in person. And so I love all the local teams. We're calling ourselves District of Champions right now, though we need our football team to catch up very soon, as well as our basketball team. But how lucky am I to kind of get to go grow up in this area where we've had such a prolific era of sports. I grew up when there was Hoya paranoia, Joe, when Georgetown was playing
Wow.
dominant basketball, when University of Maryland was dominant, seeing that national championship that the men won. So it's been great rooting for these great teams that have built such strong, storied legacies here in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about what you're doing now. You're the host of The Last Night
Yeah.
Tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about this show? Because I've caught a bunch of it and it's fantastic.
Thank you so much. So yeah, last night tonight, I've had the pleasure and honor of hosting for Valley Sports. I'm joined every weekday morning by my co-host and good friend, Brandon Scooby Robinson. And essentially it's called Last Night Tonight because we recap what happened last night in the NBA, and then we preview what's ahead tonight. So of course, just this morning, we talked about the game that we had last night, watching the Golden State Warriors win that game and go on, of course, to the finals. And then we also looked ahead to tonight, where we have Boston see if they can close out the series against this battered up Miami Heat team. So that's what we do. It's about 5 minute show. We try to give you all the news and information that you need in a quick jiffy, so you have it and then you're ready to go on with your day. But it's been so fun. And now we're excited to be taking the show on the road soon, Joe, for NBA Finals and doing it live. So it should be lots of fun.
Nice. That's so exciting. You guys are going on the road. And I did hear it's your co-host's birthday tomorrow.
Yes, and happy birthday, Scoop B. So we'll have to celebrate now on the road. We're doing these finals. So super excited for him.
Absolutely. So what did you think of last night's game? We have to talk about it. We saw the Golden State Warriors
Yeah.
come out, get the win. What'd you think? Did you
Oh my
expect
gosh,
that to
yeah.
happen?
Golden State, this playoff series, they've emerged as the big dog that we knew them to be before. And Golden State, I think, has shown their dominance in this series. And we knew the Mavericks had a lot on their hands because they were so reliant upon Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic had an off type of night last night. And he unfortunately can't have that because he doesn't have many other people who can consistently help him on the basketball court. So we saw Spencer Dinwiddie be able to step up, and he's done that multiple times throughout the series, but it just was not enough when you have so many shooters on that Golden State team. Klay Thompson going off, had 19 just in the first. Like, there's just too many weapons. Kevon Looney, like, Golden State is a problem. It's because they have so many shooters and people that you have to guard and block. And also, they're healthy. They're a basketball team right now that's staying pretty healthy. You're not looking at too many injuries. Looking at the journey that Klay Thompson has back. And then, of course, they have Chef Curry for a reason, and he continues to lead. And we saw him get to hoist, obviously, that Magic Johnson MVP trophy. But the Warriors, they just have too many weapons. So I think essentially Dallas was too shorthanded, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We thought we'd have such a better series after the way that Dallas had been playing thus far. in the playoffs. But I think they really unfortunately got exposed for their lack of. And now this offseason, Dallas will have some big questions to answer. But congrats to Golden State for looking like a true dominant team. And whoever comes out of the East is going to have their hands very full with this Warriors team.
Absolutely. Do you think either of these teams out of the East, Kelsey, can beat the Golden State Warriors?
You know, at the beginning of the series, I think like most people, I love what Miami was doing. I was so happy for Jimmy Butler. But right now, Miami's too battered up, folks. Too many injuries. I mean, it seems like every time you look at the injury report, you just have so many questions and you end up going like this, scratching your head. Kyle Lowry hasn't been the player that we've expected him to be thus far in this series. You know, Jimmy Butler started strong, but something is nagging him. You can tell he's not 100% comfortable. Tyler Hero, we're looking at him on the bench. You know, Bam Adebayo, I want this for him because I know how great of a player he can be. He's finally getting some well-deserved recognition from Prince George's County, from my area in Maryland. Victor Oladipo has had a resurgence as well in this playoffs. But again, that word consistency, we're not seeing enough of. So for me, I would love to see Boston right now. I think Boston is clicking on all cylinders. The second half of the season, we saw Boston turn around and become the strong, dominant team in the East. And right now, with the way they're playing both on the offensive side of the basketball and defense side of the basketball is huge. And if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can continue to lead this team, and other guys like Derek White being able to step up, Peyton Pritchard, I mean, they have so many weapons. Al Horford playing good on both sides of the basketball. Boston is a problem. I didn't even get to mention Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart, when healthy, when he's on
Can't
the
leave him
basketball
out.
court.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so many weapons and people that they have. So I think if we want a good final series, I do think we are going to want Boston to face off against the Warriors. We don't want to see any sweeps, folks, in the finals. Again, Miami is good, but they hit the injury bug just at the wrong point in the season, and we can see them struggling, unfortunately. So sorry for Miami Heat fans, but who knows? Maybe tonight, somehow, some way, they get healthy and get it together. But right now, Boston's playing some good basketball, and especially hard to beat them at home in front of their fans.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next, Kelsey. Do you think there is anything left in Miami that they'll be able to at least keep this close tonight? Or do you think we're looking at another blowout? We've seen so many blowouts.
Too many, Joe. Too many.
Yeah.
We don't want this in basketball. We
No.
love sports because we love competition. And at this point in the playoffs, we're supposed to be getting really close, tight-knit games. We want epic endings, but you're right. We haven't been able to see that. So, you know, Miami, if Jimmy Butler can somehow just play like he's 100%, I think that will kind of help to motivate the rest of the team. But again, I just don't see that spark and that dog in them that I saw earlier in this playoff series. And I don't want to say that they've given up, but it just seems like they're too much to handle right now with Boston. So I don't think it looks good for Miami, especially when you're on the road, hostile crowd, hostile environment. Like, it's just going to be hard for them to try to piece something together.
Yeah, a very tough spot. Now let's assume that the Dallas not the Dallas Mavericks. Golden State Warriors face the Boston Celtics in the next round. Do you think the Warriors take it in 5, or do you think this one's an extended series?
As a basketball fan, I definitely want an extended series, Joe. I do not want something short, but Golden State is playing such good basketball, but also the Celtics are. So, you know, I would say probably Warriors in 6. I hate to do that to the Celtics. The Celtics were my sleeper pick this year. So them going to the finals makes me look really smart and really great. But, you know, the Celtics, if they can stay healthy, I do think they have a potential chance to maybe upset the Warriors. But the Warriors, again, when you have a guy like Jordan Poole who stepped up and shown out, especially early on in the playoffs, like, again, they have too many guys to count for. And the Warriors have more, I think, a more solid depth. They're able to go to their bench and kind of get more guys involved. Andrew Wiggins and what he's been able to do. So I think Boston will give them a good run for their money. Hopefully we even get 7. I mean, 7 games would be phenomenal, but it's just hard. The Warriors are starting to hit at the right time and really get into their groove, and they're having fun doing it. There's a reason we keep seeing that shimmy that Steph Curry keeps doing. It's because he's having fun right now and playing some of the best basketball right now in his career.
Yeah, and you've got to think, if the Celtics don't finish this tonight, they're going to have one more game. And that's just, you know, the Warriors coming in with that rest. They're healthy and they're rested.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's like unlucky, unfortunately. Like, the Warriors of all teams probably didn't even need the rest, but getting that week, I mean, that's great. That's what your team needs to hopefully have that solid bounce back. And of course, the question can be sometimes after rest, it's kind of like when you wake up from a nap, you feel a little sluggish, and you don't want that team to kind of start sluggish, especially in these series. We know how important that first half can be. But to be honest, a lot of these games have been second half games, and the teams that have showed up and come out in the second half, such as the last Miami Heat Boston Celtics game. It wasn't the most interesting to watch, but the Celtics turned it up a notch in that second half, and that's why they came out strong and then had those back-to-back wins. But yeah, I think the Warriors, them rested and they're already this good, that's pretty scary. And so if your team is
Absolutely.
just coming off a 7-game series, it's just going to be a lot. Again, for a Boston Celtics team that is still trying to get to 100%, we have to keep looking at these injury reports and the guys that are questionable because they're still trying to get to that level. Like right now, we're looking at Robert Williams. So it's just going to be a lot for whatever team from the East gets to face off against this Warriors squad. But for basketball fans, I think you should be pretty excited about what we'll get in the finals this year.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great finals either way. Pretty sure you're right with the Boston Celtics going forward. Hats off to the Miami Heat for how well they have played so far in this series. So those injuries just really have hit them hard.
The wrong time. I hate it for Coach Spo. Like I really do. But again, it's basketball and it's also a next man up type of league, and so you're going to need those guys to step up at some of these biggest moments. Miami, unfortunately, just hasn't had that as of late, and again, they find themselves down 32 against a very good, hot hitting right now Celtic squad, who also, by the way, shout out to Ime Udoka and what he's been able to do with the squad to help them turn the season around. Absolutely. And now be this team that's getting everyone to believe in what's happening in Beantown. So lots of folks very interested in this one, Joe.
Yeah, Kelsey, good point on the next man up kind of situation. Anyone on the Golden State Warriors you're looking to step up going into the finals there?
I want Looney, honestly, to continue to have. I feel like he's had a quiet, good last round that people weren't talking about enough, but he's been so special and has made his impact felt. I think it's just making sure this is consistent and it happens in that next round, and then it's going to be super special. Wiggins, of course, too. You also want to continue like the defense that he had on Luka Doncic was next level, and Luka, folks, is one of the best players. So to be able to have games where you're able to limit one of the best in the game right now, that means it's something special. And I think why the Warriors are so good right now is because not everything is just on Steph and Clay and Draymond. They have other guys that they can look to help. And these are younger guys, Joe, especially on this team, that are able to step up and help these guys so you can get them the rest that they need. If they're having an off night, it's okay because other guys are going to step up and step out for you. So I think that's been honestly the keys to success. And Steve Kerr is pretty lucky right now. And I feel you feeling pretty confident with the squad that I have on roster.
Oh, absolutely. A list of future superstars for sure in the league. Okay, Kelsey, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know you've got a busy day. I want to wish you a happy Memorial Day weekend down there. Can you let everyone know where to follow you on socials and also where to check out your show?
Of course. Well, Joe, first off, I think you are so phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me. Had such a blast on this show. And I hope everyone checks out Last Night Tonight, presented by Bally Sports. It comes on every weekday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Set your dials 8 a.m. specific time. You can go to ballysports.com to catch the recap video. But join us live, folks, on Twitter and Facebook Live, also on Stadium on Twitter. And then you can check me out at The Real K Nelson. Again, The Real K Nelson on social media. I have my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com, also on Facebook, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Hope everyone tunes in and checks me out to a lot of different things in sports, but of course right now focusing a lot on NBA finals and also getting to cover our great WNBA league and our Washington Mystics here in DC. So it's been a blast. It's been fun. And then, of course, also Joe preparing for football. So never a dull moment on my timeline, folks. Always something going on. I will be chiming in too.
Absolutely. Football season's right around the corner. I have to ask you, who are your football teams, college and professional?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I get a little flack for this because the DMV is an interesting area, but I grew up a Baltimore Ravens fan first and foremost. But I did work for the Commanders, and they're right next door, so I do have love for them. But I'm a Baltimore girl through and through. I actually just had a chance to chop it up with head coach John Harbaugh at the Preakness in Baltimore, so that was lots of fun. And collegiately, folks, I went to University of Maryland. We're the Turtle, our Terps, one day. All right, we're gonna make noise soon in the Big Ten. By the way, congrats to head coach Mike Locksley for getting that contract extension and Maryland getting that bowl win. I think we're on the up and up, and it's exciting for us Maryland grads to see football turning it around. We've been in the dark for a little bit, Joe. But
absolutely.
Smile now.
Yeah, definitely going to be a better season this season for them. Again, they're coming up, and it's really good to see. So happy for you, Kelsey. Again, thank you so much for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. You guys, I will be back on Monday with another Joe Madden Sports Podcast. Everyone enjoy your Memorial Day weekend down in the States. For us Canadians up here, it's life as normal, but enjoy the weekend.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Have a great Memorial Day.
Bye.